Hello, welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kier, and this is Jason, and we are back once again with another show. Today, we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different for you guys today, which is kind of what we originally intended to do in the first place, is actually review some newer films. I know most recently, most of our shows have been kind of like lists or older shows or older films that we've been watching or we rewatch and that sort of stuff. But we actually decided today that we're actually going to do some newer films, and the films that we will be reviewing today will be Extraction and Blow the Man Down. So that's it's kind of what we're looking to do today. Kind of excited to do something a little bit different. How about you?
Yeah, I like that this is kind of a more of a quick and off the cuff kind of just talking about movies, which you and I would do in normal life. So and it's good to talk about some movies that are relatively new and pretty widely available on common streaming services. So
yeah, exactly. And both of these are Extraction you can find on Netflix, and then Blow the Man Down will actually be on Amazon. So just FYI, if you are interested in watching either one of those films after after our discussion, you may or may not be, depending on what we have to say. So but with that said, then I say let's get into it, man. So the first film we're going to start off with is Extraction. Well, Jason, yes, how was Extraction for you?
It was okay. I mean, like a lot of people, I've heard from a lot of my friends that you got to watch this movie and this movie's awesome and whatever. And a lot of people seem to be into it, but for me, it wasn't that special, really, to be honest. It stars Chris Hemsworth, who I have nothing against. I like Chris Hemsworth as a mercenary who's hired to basically in India, a crime lord's son has been kidnapped and he's got to get him back. That's pretty much the entire plot. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was okay. It just seemed to me like I had seen that movie 100 times, though. That was my main problem with it. And I have nothing against action movies. I love action movies, and there is good action. I will say that. Like there's a lot of good action. There's a lot of good what I call like ouch moments. When they've taken the time to come up with like a really painful looking way for somebody to die or something. There's a lot of those moments in there, and that's good. I like that. In the movies, not in real life. But to me, it just seemed like I had seen it before. It seemed like those kind of movies are big right now, like John Wick, Atomic Blonde, The Raid. Either of the Raid movies, I highly recommend. But to me, this seemed like those kind of movies, like with all the personality sucked out of it. Like it was like John Wick, but without like the cool like world building that they do in there and like the style. It was like Atomic Blonde, but without the style, again, without like the cool soundtrack, what makes Atomic Blonde special. It was like The Raid, except not as cool, not as stylish. So it seemed like all the personality sucked out of it. All it left was some pretty good action. I mean, it was like the second like the teenage son is introduced, I'm like, oh, he's going to get kidnapped. So I knew exactly what was going to happen the whole time, pretty much. There's no real surprises. Even the name of the movie is pretty generic, Extraction. It's just a word they picked. And the Chris Hemsworth character, there's nothing that interesting about him. He's just kind of a guy. So, I mean, like the action was good, but that was pretty much it. I feel like I'd seen that movie 100 times. So that's okay. That's my take on Extraction. How about, what did you think of it? Because we haven't talked about this yet. We haven't talked about this yet, so I really don't know what you thought.
No, absolutely. No. We try not to discuss our films beforehand when all possible. Of course, with the list shows, we have an idea what each other likes for the most part. This will be uncharted territory for the two of us. I actually liked it. I thought the action was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it, and I agree that it's not as good as The Raid or John Wick, and there were a lot of elements to a lot of scenes that reminded me a lot of some of those films. I'll even throw in Black Hawk Down in some capacity, the same kind of thing where they're they're in a place and pretty much everybody's trying to attack them and kill them and you know, or after them kind of thing, and they're having to basically fight to survive. You know, similar to, like you said, like a John Wick film, but like I said, also because of that military kind of feel to it, and like everybody's trying to kill them basically. You know, I kind of like the story. I thought it had good action. The story was simple, but I feel like for a film like that, that's all you really needed. It was basically shot theoretically over a 2-day period, which I like films like that where, you know, it's not drawn out. There's not a whole lot of, you know, wasted dialogue. It's just a straight action film. You know, and it really, it starts, once it gets going, it pretty much just doesn't let up. And I kind of like that. I like that there was a lot of action, and you know, it's not going to win any Oscars, that's for sure. But if you're looking for just like a film that just has great action, lots of shooting, lots of killing, lots of knife fighting, and that sort of stuff, then, you know, this is probably something that you're going to enjoy, I think. I really think that it's a film that, you know, I enjoyed it. It's one that I definitely will probably rewatch again. But I'm not going to say it's perfect by any means, and it definitely does have some flaws and that sort of stuff. And there are a few characters, especially towards the end. There's a girl that's part of like that ops team or whatever, where she just looked out of place for me towards the end when, you know, they come down on the helicopter, and, you know, she's supposed to be like some, you know, hardcore, you know, action woman, and I just didn't see it. You know what I mean? Like, so there were some scenes that I did have some issues with, but I thought overall I enjoyed it. I thought it was just a decent action film, and you knew what you're getting when you walked into it. I mean, like you said, the title's generic extraction. You knew it was about an extraction. You knew basically what the whole premise of the movie was, and, you know, it was just an entertainment for me, you know. So I enjoyed it. I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty decent. I thought the action scenes were great. You know, the bad guy was kind of, you know, your typical Middle Eastern bad guy, you know what I mean, kind of thing. But so there was nothing special about him or anything like that. But you know, but overall, I thought it was a fun film. It seems like a kind of film that you know, like I said, if you like the Atomic Blondes and the John Wicks, you know, I think for the most part, you're going to be somewhat entertained, at least, you know, if you watch this one. And that was my overall take. So, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I didn't hate it. I mean, you know, it's just like I guess there, you know, all those other movies. If I was in the mood to watch that kind of movie, there's like a dozen other movies I would watch before this one. Is my main thing, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, different strokes for different folks. You know what I mean? So, if I'm in the mood for an action movie, you know, I watch different types of action movies, and this would be one that I would, you know, I would definitely watch again, and I would throw on. I don't know if I'll necessarily buy it or anything like that. I don't even know if I can buy it since it's a Netflix film. But you know, it's definitely one.
Yeah.
Huh. But it's definitely one that, you know,
I don't think
I'll probably
you
watch again. Yeah, probably not, but you know,
cool.
Don't need to if it's on Netflix until they stop showing it, I guess. But yeah, if you like action and you know, you want to check your brain at the door and just enjoy just you know, just a fun action film where, you know, hundreds of people get killed and beaten and stabbed and you know, just all kinds of just horrible things happen to people in this film, then yeah, I would definitely say check it out. You know, if you like action like I like action, then you're probably not going to hate it. I don't think so. I think you might enjoy it. So, my take.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right.
Well, we're also in this show. We're trying out our rating system for the first time.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I think so.
So is this a good time for that?
Yeah, this is a great time to discuss the rating system that you would give this. You know, maybe give a star rating and then what the rating system would be as well. I think that would be the easiest way to do that.
Oh, the star rating? Yeah. My star rating was when I wrote a review for it was 2.5 stars out of 5. It's to me, it's a C. It's an average movie. And we're trying out this new rating system where we show our rating based on a facial expression. So my facial expression for Extraction would be this one. Bored, because that's pretty much how I was most of the time. A few times I would cringe. Maybe if I had a cringe face, I could do that. But for the most part, I was like, I've been here a million times. I've seen it done better. I've seen it done better many, many times. How about you, Kier?
Okay. If I had to give it a grade, and I hadn't really quite got there as far as a star rating, I would probably give it out of 5. I'd probably give it a 3.5 out of 5 is what I'm leaning towards. So, which is, my second highest grade. So, so for me, it's going to be just a smile, just I wasn't blown away by it. I wasn't amazed or anything like that, but I did enjoy it. So it definitely gets a nice little smile face for me because I thought that it did what it needed to do, and I think you should check it out. I think if you're watching this and you're on the fence, check it out. See it for yourself, and then maybe give us a comment, let us know what you thought after you saw it, or if you've already seen it, you can be more than welcome to share your thoughts or your comments on it. We love to hear from other people to see what they thought or what their take was, or maybe we both got it wrong. Maybe you completely hated it, or maybe you thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't know. So just definitely let us know. But overall, like I said, I think we both enjoyed it, and overall, I don't think you hated it. So you just weren't thrilled with it, I guess. Cool.
Yeah. Just
All right. Yeah. Well, that was Extraction. So and then we do have a second film.
First brand new movie that we've talked about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's pretty awesome. It's fun to actually talk about a new movie, and especially in the climate that we're in right now, where we're all quarantined and there's no movies playing. So it's just good to be able to watch something fresh and something new, even if you didn't necessarily love it. It was, for me, it was just cool to watch something from 2020 that I hadn't seen. So, so I was like, awesome. So. All right. Well, with that said, we're moving on to film number 2. And the second film, as we already alluded to, was Blow the Man Down. So completely different type of film. There's some action, I guess, if you will. There's a little bit of action in there, but it's, not an action movie, I would say.
There's violence. Yeah.
There's violence. More violence than I would say.
And ouch moments. Ouch moments, like I was talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very, very hard ouch moments as well. I will say there is a pitchfork involved in both films, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah. There's one involved in both films, so yeah, very, very cool. Well, what was your overall take on Blow the Man Down?
I really like this movie. I enjoyed this a lot. Well, first of all, this is moving over from Netflix to Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch this. First of all,
and it looks like we lost Jason just for a brief second. So hopefully he'll be back again very soon. So sorry about that. There he is.
Okay. All right. I don't know what happened.
Well, welcome back.
All right. Okay. So, do I just start back where I was?
Yeah, I didn't get any of that. Okay. I just heard you start off with Blow the Man Down, and then the band blew you down. So I don't know what happened.
Okay. So I like this movie a lot. It's available on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it. I recommend that you do. Basically, it is well, first of all, I want to say, my partner and I, we do this thing every weekend called Movie Night, where we take turns showing each other movies. This was his choice. I had never heard of it before, even when the title came on the screen. It's pretty rare that a movie, even if I haven't seen it, I know about it. But I had never even heard of this movie at all. And it was a new experience for me in that way, because I couldn't tell even what kind of movie it was for a while. It takes place in this very small New England town where the fishing industry is the entire town, basically. So right off the bat, I was like, this is cool. You hardly ever see movies that are set in this kind of environment. And then I was like, is it a drama? Because there's these two sisters, their mother has just died. So they're trying to figure out a way to support themselves now that their mother has died. But it becomes apparent after a while that it's a thriller, actually. And it basically, these two sisters, there's a crime committed accidentally, I guess you could say, that they have to cover up. and that kind of opens up this whole. Slowly, you start to realize that there's this whole criminal underbelly in the town, and I just love the way that they peel back the layers of this environment, like so skillfully. Like it was truly unpredictable. I really didn't know where it was going to go. It reminded me a lot of the Coen Brothers movies. It reminded me a lot of Fargo, Blood Simple, those kind of things. Maybe a little bit too much. It reminded me of the Coen Brothers a little bit because they have this recurring thing where they have these sailors like sing, where it was kind of like a Greek chorus kind of thing, which I thought was cool, but I thought like that's really leaning on the Coen Brothers a lot there. But I thought the story was really good. The acting is really good. It's a bag of money movie because it's one of those movies where one act just dominoes into all these other acts, and then you got to cover up one crime, and then you got to cover up a crime that happens because of that crime. But I really enjoyed it. I didn't see where it was going, and I really liked Margot Martindale. You may not know her name, but you know her face. She's been in a lot of things. Right. And did you ever watch Justified? The show Justified, Kier?
I didn't.
It's really good. It's really good, and she is kind of playing a character that she played. Well, not the same character, but a similar kind of criminal, small town kingpin kind of character. But she's great in this movie as kind of the villain. But I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. So, what did you think?
Yeah, I actually did like it. I did like it. I don't know that I'm going to say that I liked it as much as you did. I did like it. I did have a few issues with it as well. And I try not to get too much into spoilers or anything like that. But
yeah.
But I did like it quite a bit. I did see a lot of the Coen Brothers themes that were kind of lifted a little bit from this film, and it's like the kind of film that you're watching and like, man, that I almost had to double check that the Coen Brothers didn't direct it. You know what I mean? Because they did do like the Netflix
Buster Scruggs.
Buster Scruggs.
Yeah, I love that movie.
So I had to actually make sure that they actually didn't do this film. So that's kind of a problem. Number one is when I'm already looking to see who directed it because I wasn't for sure if it was a Coen Brothers film or not. It's just like you said. There is a lot of things that happen. There's some. I don't know. I had a few logic issues. Like, I felt like the first crime that we find out about. You probably could have called the police and probably would have been okay. You know what I mean? I felt like in that situation, because of the way that the situation unfolded, I think that they would have had an understanding for you. You know what I mean? Like, there's you saw something, you know what I mean? You got spooked and then you're kind of being kind of stalked and you know what I mean? So that kind of stuff. So I felt like in that situation, there was really no need to even, go through all the trouble of doing all the things that you did. I think a rational person would have just called the cops and explained the situation. So I was kind of a little thrown off, like why it had to go to even that point. And then, like I said, there are a lot of onions and layers that are being peeled back in the film. But some of the issues I had was with the resolution of how everything resolved. It wasn't like completely explained exactly, because another crime was committed as well that we find out like midway through the film, but I still wasn't 100% sure how all that unfolded. You know what I mean? Like I was still like, well, what exactly happened there? They didn't show it. They didn't really a lot of it was implied. And so I was still a little fuzzy on exactly what happened there. I have some sort of an idea, but I still don't know how all the details unfolded and that kind of stuff. So there was a little bit of that. And then, like I said, there was just a little bit of, the story getting wrapped up and more characters were kind of getting involved in the story and that sort of stuff. So I did have some issues just in terms of how everything started to unfold as it unfolded, because it just seems like it wasn't like really explained thoroughly in some parts. But overall, I did enjoy it. I thought it was a good thriller, if you will. It did remind me, like you said, of a lot of Coen Brothers movies. It definitely could have been like another type of Fargo type film. Not quite as funny as in parts of some of those films are, but no. This one's a little bit more serious. But overall, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I didn't have any major issues with it or anything like that, where I would say it wasn't a good movie or wouldn't recommend that anybody sees it. I don't know if it's one that I'm probably going to revisit necessarily, but overall, I didn't have a bad time. So.
Yeah, I also it's also I think pretty good as a first film. So it's actually, a lot of those things like I can excuse because it leans on the Coen brothers pretty hard, but it's also somebody's. It's directed by two ladies, Danielle Crudy and Bridget Savage Cole, and it's their first film. They did a couple of one of them did a couple of short films before this, but I think it's pretty darn good for a first feature length film to get a movie with that much atmosphere and such good performances. So hopefully, like on their second film, if they keep going together, then it will be more of their own stamp to it. But as a Coen Brothers-esque thriller, I thought it was pretty darn good.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, what's your overall grade and your facial expression?
Well, this I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. To me, it's a solid B plus, and I would definitely give it a smile. I was happy watching this movie. I knew I was in the presence of some people with some natural filmmaking talent for sure. How about you?
Cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to lean towards more like a 3 out of 5 for me. So I liked it. Like I said, me personally, Extraction's a little bit more my type of film. So of course I'm going to like that one a little bit better in my opinion. But 3 out of 5 is still really, really solid for me. So I did enjoy it. Like I said, 3 out of 5. I did like a lot of the elements of the film. I think it's definitely one that you should check out if you haven't heard of it or you haven't seen it. And most likely you haven't. But it's definitely one that you should because I hadn't heard of it until you mentioned it to me. So yes, it's definitely one you should check out. And for me, I'm going to give it a no teeth smile. So just like a.
All right.
When I show the teeth, when I show these pearly whites, baby, you know what time it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some people are getting killed.
Yeah.
Well, no, people get killed in both of them, but a lot of people are getting killed.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting killed. So no, I agree. Well, yeah. Well, that was great. Well, that was good. That was our first just straight up new film review. You know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty good. We're planning on doing a lot more of these types of shows for you guys moving forward. Next we're probably going to continue with our 97 series coming up here shortly after this one, anyways. And then maybe we'll try to find another film that we can watch and do another review, or maybe 2 films that we can watch and review. But of course, if there's a film you want us to watch and review here on the show, then, by all means, go ahead and let us know in the comments, and we'll try to make every effort we can to watch it. Now's the perfect time. If there's a film you want us to watch that maybe we haven't seen, or maybe we have seen, we can rewatch it. Now's the perfect time to let us know and send us a comment or message us or whatever you want to do, and we'll definitely try to check it out because we have nothing to do right now. We're stuck at home, so so watching movies is kind of our jam right now. So if you want to recommend something, by all means. And once again, always remember, please always give us a thumbs up and give us a subscribe to our channel. Like I said, we're still trying to grow. We're still figuring things out. We're trying to test a few things out with our reviews and that sort of stuff. And so we may still be doing a little bit of fine tweaking with that. But overall, I enjoyed this first straight up movie review show. And I look forward to doing a lot more with you. So should be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great. Well, we will see you guys again real soon. Like I said, once again, just please like and subscribe, and you guys take it easy. Have a great day.
All right. Bye.
Bye.